right, so I'm Nick, as I assume you know, because why else would you be in here? As Brock said, I chose my theme because we were forced to choose a theme. If it was up to me, it would say senior speech, Nick Ramp. So I chose live in the moment. This is a lesson I've had to learn a lot throughout my life. It's easy for me to let opportunities pass me by, and so a big thing I'm focusing on, especially for the rest of my life moving on, is to take advantage of the opportunities I've been given. I've been given a lot throughout my life, and so I feel like it's important for me to take advantage of them when they come to me. First, I want to talk about my childhood. I was lucky enough to grow up in a Christian home. My family was always super loving and always kept me in Christian environments. I always went to church, I always went to schools, and like I said earlier, they gave me a lot of opportunities to do pretty much anything I wanted. I could ask them, hey, there's this new hobby that I want to try. You know nothing about it, I know nothing about it, but will you let me do it? And it would just be an automatic yes, so I'm super grateful for all that. My whole life, like I mentioned, I went to Christian schools. First I went to Trinity Lutheran, and then I was homeschooled for about year and a half. And then I came here after spring break in third grade, and I've been here ever since. Being homeschooled, it's kind of the stereotype that it makes you very, reserved and kind of quiet and awkward, and that was true. I was very awkward for a long time, and that's something that's kind of stuck with me, is I'm still very quiet and kept to myself. I like to think I'm not as awkward as I used to be, but I can be, so. I was always I was pretty accelerated in school. When I was homeschooled, I was always doing stuff that was multiple grades ahead of my level. And this made me kind of pride myself on my ability in that field. And while it was a good thing that I was doing well, it kind of hurt because when suddenly things didn't go well, it made me really hard on myself. That was just a thing where I prided myself on this, so then if I wasn't good at this anymore, then what am I, And even though I was given a lot of opportunities in my childhood, like I said, I still wish I did more. I wish, looking back now that I'm older, that I had done pretty much everything that I could have possibly done. Next, I want to talk about the impact sports has had on my life. I was always forced to play sports by my parents, which I'm glad, because sports have just done a lot for me. I don't think you can see, but that hockey picture of me drifting aimlessly across the ice was dated from 2009, which made me 5 years old. So I've been playing sports for a super long time. Obviously, it kept me active, and it piqued my interest in sports, which is really one of my main hobbies now. It helped me be more outgoing because I found something to talk about. When I first came to the school, I didn't really. Cole mentioned earlier how I pretended like I knew him. I did not. My mom told me I did. I did not at all. And so sports helped me. I noticed everyone here, all the guys here, like talking about sports, and so I was like, all right, well, I'll figure it out and have something to talk about when I go to school. So it helped me meet a lot of the people here. It taught me good teamwork and how to be a leader, especially this year as a senior. It's kind of a different role than I'm used to. But it's nice to always change things up like that. It's also taught me how to overcome mistakes and injuries. Like I said, with school, it's similar with sports, is if I felt like I was good at something and then I messed up, it made me harder on myself than I should have been, because it was like, that's what I'm supposed to be good at, so then if I'm not, then what else can I bring? And then injuries have kept me out of most sports. I would have been playing basketball, but I have a knee condition where my kneecap just is too high up and it causes a lot of friction. I went to physical therapy for a while, and my physical therapist at one point told me, wow, I've never seen anything like this before, which is not something you want to hear your physical therapist say. So I haven't been able to play basketball since freshman year. I took a year off sophomore year because I just wasn't enjoying it the same way, and that was partially due to injuries. And then I really wanted to come back junior year. We had a lot of people playing, and so I was really excited to come back and play, and then I found out that I wasn't going to be able to because I felt the pain in my legs. Luckily, a sport I have been able to still play is baseball. Baseball's been my favorite sport for a long time, and it's the sport I've been the best at. I had a pretty bad start with baseball. When I was really young, I went to Doug Mirabelli's baseball academy, which was like a whole weekend camp for baseball. and one of the assistant coaches threw me a pop-up, and I didn't know anything about baseball. I didn't know what I was doing, and so I stood there and I kept moving my glove out of the way to see the ball, and then I moved it and it hit me right in the nose. My nose started bleeding. I had to leave early. I didn't come back. And so I stopped playing baseball for a couple of years, but I'm glad I came back to it. It's been a really fun experience for me. I also want to thank the coaches I've had over the years, not just the coaches that I've had now, but just really throughout my life. I've been lucky enough to have a lot of really good coaches, which not everyone can say, and so all the coaches that have helped me to where I am today, I'm super grateful for. Next, I want to talk about the mission trip. This is the main reason I picked my theme, and it's because of a lesson I learned while I was on the mission trip. I want to talk about specifically the third day we had of children's ministry. That little kid there is Abraham, and he's been a huge impact on my life. I keep this picture on the right here as my phone background, just as a constant reminder of what he taught me. And he's only 3 years old. He can't even speak Spanish, and I don't either, and he can't speak English, obviously. So the fact that he's been able to teach me all that is just, everything he has it's crazy to me. When I first saw him, it was the third day, so I'd seen him the first couple days, and I saw how everyone else on the trip was making like these really cool one-on-one connections with these kids, and I wanted that for myself, and I wasn't sure what I was doing wrong and why it wasn't working, and I was enjoying myself, and it was cool to see everyone else, but I wanted that for myself. And so on the third day, I see Abraham here, and his mask had slipped down, and he had snot, like literally, more snot than could fit in his nose, all over his face. And so I went in and I wiped him up and whatever, and then I kind of left him alone for a few minutes, and then I was playing with some other kids, and I turned around, it was the exact same thing, like it was unbelievable. And so I helped him out again, and from that point on, I was like, okay, this is what I need to do today. This is my chance, really. And this kid needs something, and so I'm gonna be that for him. And so throughout the day, he was just hilarious. At one point, he was like begging me to take him to his mom, who was working in the kitchen, and I was like, all right. He was crying, whatever. So I was like, all right, I'll take you in. And then I set him down, and he looks up and he sees the mom, and then he turns to the fan that's sitting right there, and he just like that, and he's like buzzing in the fan, and it was like, he just got me. Like there's nothing else I could do at that point. So, but had that day gone like the other days, because at this point I felt like I knew the routine, I felt like I knew how the day was going to go, and had that day gone the way I thought it was going to, it just wouldn't have had the same impact on me, and I really learned the importance of God's plan versus what I expect. I'm always confident now that like even if what I want isn't happening, I know that there's a greater purpose for it. And that takes me to this verse. This is my favorite Bible verse. It says, "Can any one of you, by worrying, add a single hour to your life?" That sounds kind of like a weird verse, but I remember the first time reading it, it was like getting smacked in the face. It just put my whole life in perspective. I used to worry about anything and everything I had coming up. And so when I first read this, it put it into perspective, like I'm wasting my time, and I need to take advantage of the opportunities that I've been given, because I'm a lot more fortunate than a lot of people have been. And so I need to make sure that I can take full advantage of that. I want to talk about our class. Madeline's getting cut off at the end there a little bit. I've been here, like I said, since third grade, and so I've been able to see our class grow and change, and it's been a really cool experience. I've seen our class always welcome in new people. Even after people have left, it's like a family. And so I'm super appreciative for everyone in our class. A couple of personal thank yous. I want to thank Storm and Riley first. Don't ask about the pearls. I don't really know what happened either. And if I knew we were going for the awkward arm grab, I would have joined in with Storm there. Overall, Storm and Riley have helped me loosen up a lot, as well as the rest of our class, but especially them. If they're sitting next to each other, it's trouble. They're going to be giggling about something. And there's just always people I always know I can have fun around. It's gotten to the point where, if someone says something kind of funny, me and Storm will kind of have this slow look at each other. And it's gotten to the point where I can tell when he's looking at me, and I won't look back at him because I'm going to die laughing. And I just can't do that, so I just feel him like looking down my neck. And then I want to thank Brock. This is a picture from middle school baseball. Brock's been always super encouraging for me throughout baseball and sports in general, especially basketball, actually. I was never very good at basketball. I was always shorter and less athletic than really everyone else. But when I was, especially when we were in elementary, I was pretty good at rebounding, and Brock would always like make a huge deal about it. And just, I've seen him do it with me, and I've seen him do it with other people, where if you're even good at the smallest, least important possible thing, he will make you feel like it is the most important job on the team, and that it just needs to be done. You're the only person that can do it, and no one else can. And so Brock's definitely kept me interested in sports for a very long time. Next I want to talk about my family. This is just my mom's side, which as you can see is quite a few people. So for my dad's side, just times two. My family's always been super supportive. Anytime I have a game out where someone lives, they always want to come and see, and I'm just super thankful for my whole family. And then a few more personal stuff. Ms. Koyman, that is not a watermark on that picture. You didn't see that. I want to thank my mom. My mom, like I said, always super supportive, and she's really been the most. Anytime I have a problem with anything, she's the first person I go to. Sometimes I come home from a bad day, and I try to pretend like everything's normal, and I feel like I do a pretty good job about it, and then she goes, "Something wrong?" And I'm like, "Nope," and I walk away. But it's like, she can just tell at any time, and she's always been there for me. And then there's Sophie. She's kind of cool, I guess, but Sophie's been my best friend for my whole life. Like I said, she's always been there for me. Always been a role model in my life. I still do. I copied her handwriting because I just thought, that was just a simple thing, but everything she did was so cool to me, and that was just an example of it. My handwriting's a little worse than hers is, but it's a thought that counts, I guess. And I always joke with her that she has to figure everything out, and then I just get to copy everything that she does, because she's the older sibling. So she always had to figure everything out, and then I just get to be like, oh, okay, that's how you do it. So, speaking of copying everything she does, I'm going to Belmont University, where she goes to in the fall. In our families, a lot of our family, I say a lot, some of our families moving down to Tennessee, where Belmont is, and so it makes me nervous because it's a new experience, but as I've learned, it's really in God's hands, and what He wants is more important than what I think is right. So I'm excited for what can happen, but I am also nervous, but in the end, I'm confident that whatever needs to happen will happen. So.